Coach is Mike Kuchar, www.xandolabs.com. Got an XNO Labs exclusive here from the outside linebackers and defensive ends coach at Temple University, Coach Ben Albert. We're thankful enough for Coach Albert sharing with us 3 installments of how he teaches his pass rush at Temple University. We all know the success that Temple has had on defense. I know this year they were very young, but in 2011 they were third in the country in scoring defense, letting up under 10 points a game. They had a tremendous pass rush. We've seen what Coach Dazio and his staff did there the last couple of years, and Coach has been gracious enough to put together a PowerPoint as well as some of his defensive slides, okay, and defensive drills that he works with his defensive linemen and outside linebackers and teaching the pass rush technique. You can find more information at xandolabs.com, including full research reports, drill videos, special reports on numerous topics. It's all on the website there for our insider members. Again, it's www.xandolabs.com. So we're going to take you through this. I'll let Coach go through all of his drills here in a second, but some interesting stuff here from Coach Albert talking about different phases of the pass rush. And you see 1, 2, 3. 1 is always closing the distance. Okay, recognizing the pass set, hi-hat pass set, getting off the ball. Okay, no such thing as play action pass. Coach does not teach that. He wants his players getting off the ball, okay, at all times. Engage in defeat. Once it's closed, keep it closed, and we're going to talk about some drills. What that means is just closing the distance, okay, between defensive lineman and the quarterback, and never allowing your opponent to recover off a move. And of course, finishing is probably the most important, or one of the most important aspects of pass rush, talking about relentless and becoming violent. Coach goes into some different techniques here with the nose guard, which is his one technique. Temple did run a 4-3 over front. Okay, must have an understanding of where the offense is turning the protection. We all know how important it is, that center, where that center blocks. Is he stepping to you? Is he stepping away from you? Okay, if he's stepping away from you, that A-gap's going to be open. If he's stepping to you, then you do have to know they may be able to cross face, so on and so forth. Okay, the offense turns the protection based on that way. Know who to rush and collapse the pocket by getting vertically upfield. The 3-technique tackle is usually the best inside pass rusher. Will get one-on-one situations with that offensive guard where we have a two-way going. A lot of 4-3 defensive coaches, D coordinators really coach up that 3 technique. He's going to attack the inside rush lane and high and low inside calls, which we'll get into here in a second. There's an interesting kind of a rushman template, okay, to where to rush. So we'll keep this up here for you to read. Some pretty interesting stuff in terms of horizontal and vertical leverage position. The outside player is the rush end, the defensive end away from the tight end. Okay, he is going to be to the 3-technique side in Temple's defense. He's going to get a high-low call based on where that offensive lineman sets. Is it a high hat or a low hat? He's going to get a level rush. He is going to work his inside counter moves, which we'll get into here in a second. He's going to work his $1 million speed rush, which Coach Albert talks about. That's the money ball. The bubble end, the defensive end to the 1-technique side, that other defensive end is usually going to get a cover me call, okay, where he does work some moves with that 1 technique. Will work some exchanges. He'll work a level rush. His speed to power technique is going to protect that bubble, that B-gap bubble, and he's going to work that ice pick, which is a sit and spin technique, which Coach has a drills here for in a second. And here you see some of the tackle set lines that Coach goes into. Okay, talking about where the set line is to the line of scrimmage through the outside leg of the offensive tackle, a depth of 8 yards. Okay, and I think this is very scientific, but a lot of defensive coaches do paint these lines on their field, okay, to make sure they're getting where they need to be to the set point based on where the quarterback is in his drop. There's a break point there, which Coach talks about, okay, where they can make their move. We've seen so many times where an inside move is made and the quarterback gets around outside the pocket. All right, so Coach does get into that and talk about that here during the course of the drill tape. This is a simple get-off drill coach will use. His hat is simulating the ball. Good stance, getting off the ball, working straight on that angle. Good explosion here by a lot of these defensive linemen. This is the close drill. Okay, I like this drill. We do this often at the high school level where we're just working on one player. The offensive player is backpedaling, the defensive linemen are sprinting, okay, to try to touch the offensive lineman at a certain point. And you could always back those offensive linemen up, okay, just to work on these defensive linemen getting off the ball. This three-cone drill is similar to what you may see in NFL combines. Okay, where players are getting off the first cone at 5 yards, they're going to touch, come back to the first cone, okay, and then work that L move. Just working on agility, working on angles. We've seen too many times where defensive ends, okay, they don't do a good job in running tight angles to the quarterback. They'll loop and they'll take themselves out of the path of the play. Could be a better finish there. We're always, coach is always emphasizing finish. Talk to me about always making sure that they're finishing the drill and they're starting the drill. Two most important points of any drill. Working those tight angles to the quarterback. It's that L-shaped 90-degree angle. We'll work both sides here. I think this is a good drill to use in, if not preseason, but in winter workouts and spring workouts for high school guys and summer workouts. It's just teaching angles, teaching footwork, teaching explosion. This kid does a really nice job, and we can't talk about specific players here, but you will recognize a few players here that are in the NFL and that have done a great job at outside linebacker and defensive end for Temple, and a lot of them really do a great job getting off the ball. This is interesting. Okay, this is Coach Albert's hand drills, where he's working with his players, making good technique, emphasizing hand placement, getting hands inside, and just knocking hands off you. So important at hand-to-hand combat defensive linemen inside the trenches. You're seeing Coach pointing out this player really quick with his hands, chopping down at the wrist or forearm area. Some coaches teach the elbow. You see the second hands getting to the elbow, okay, which is good. If you get there, it's a great thing. Some players have a hard time getting to that elbow. Okay, they'll try to collapse the wrist, as you're seeing here by these players. Notice how Coach is just working hands right now. He's not working the hips through, just getting hand placement, collapsing, coming over the top. Now he's going to work the hips through. Once you get that hand placement as a defensive lineman, now it's important that you get your hips, okay, and your hips clear the offensive lineman. I think that's really Coach has been emphasizing right now, getting those hips to clear those offensive linemen. Again, another drill you could do. This is spring practice for Temple 2011. You could do this stuff in a gym. You could do this stuff in a weight room with your kids. I mean, this is just something that you could learn. It's just so important that they work hand placement. We have so much trouble as high school defensive linemen, some even college defensive linemen working on hands. So important to teach hands at this level, any level at this position. And then finishing up at the cone where the quarterback's supposed to be. This player's really getting into it. I mean, this is something that just developing a rhythm for your defensive lineman. I think it's just such a great thing to do. Understanding footwork, understanding angles, understanding where to clear the offensive lineman. He'll work both ways here. Now he's going to move the cone. Now see a coach right there is talking about his hip placement. This player right here was not moving his hips; he's just moving his body, and now he's doing a little better job of clearing his hips through. What he's doing here in this progression is just working a mirror drill. Okay, so players really get some eye discipline, eye focus on where they need to be. Okay, he's telling this player right now to look at his chest. Okay, look at his numbers as a defensive lineman. That's where your target is anyway. Okay, so now he's looking at his chest and he's matching his hands. Wherever his hands go, okay, he's matching hands. This, to me, and to coach, this is more of a reactionary drill, okay, more of a cause and effect drill, okay, than game specific stuff. Just getting them to train their eyes on their keys where they need to be. And you see a lot of players are undisciplined, with them training their eyes and understanding where their eyes need to be. And once he turns his shoulders, once he drops his hips, that's the indicator or the trigger for the defensive lineman to rush in a pass rush. They're going to start from that balanced position. Okay, you see he's making sure that all his players start from that balanced position. Okay, with their chest over their knees over their feet, because that's where they need to be in terms of executing a pass rush, playing with good leverage. Now he's just working that pass rush technique, clearing hips, getting through the offensive lineman. All right, our thanks goes to Coach Albert, okay, Temple University, the outside linebackers coach, for submitting his everyday drills at xandolabs.com. Coaches, if there's any information that you may need, please log on at xandolabs.com and join our Insiders member. We get plenty of research reports, full-length research reports, drill videos, and special reports on our website. Thanks.